Hey guys, in this video we're going to talk about the vocals, so let's get straight into it. There's lots to talk about. Okay, there's a few things that I need to say about vocals before we even look at what we've done with them. And the first thing is, whenever you look on audio production forums or Facebook groups, the question that's always asked is, how do you process vocals? How can I do this to make my vocals sound like that? And 90% of a good vocal, even in a mix, is how it's recorded. And I'm not exaggerating, it is all in the recording. To get a good vocalist with a good vocal technique is gold. And that's what we've got here. Now, to give you an idea of how this track came about, I originally sent Sonic Academy's own Phil Johnson, I sent him this. No, I sent him, yeah, pretty much that. So I sent him that rough idea of the kind of sound I wanted for the track. No mixing, it was just really raw. And he laid down a vocal line. Phil can sing. He laid down a rough idea, got the lyrics done, got the melody worked out. And then we sent it off, or he sent it off to a vocalist that he knows called Craig Phillips, I think. Let me check. I lied. Clark Phillips. Sorry, Clark. Now, I've tried to get in touch with Clark on social media to find out what the signal chain was that he's used, just so you can get a rough idea. But I would imagine, I mean, this is a guy working out of a home studio. It's not going to be anything massively expensive. Like I said, it's 90% knowing what you are doing, knowing where to put your face up to the microphone, knowing which microphone suits your voice. Even the most basic audio interfaces these days, you can get a really good sound out of, as long as you know what you're doing with the mic and with your room. And he's provided a fantastic set of vocals here. Now, there's a double-edged sword to this. First of all, the vocals he's provided are so good that I've had to do almost nothing to them. So there's certain things I can't show you. I can't show you de-essing, I can't show you the editing, I can't show you lining them up. He's even had them leveled and panned for me. So what I will say is, if we have a listen to the vocals, they are produced and exported in such a way that I'm able to process them in a group, which is unusual. I've not had to do anything, and I was looking for things to do, believe me. I've not had to do anything to the vocals individually. So just having listened to the main vocals, he sent me, we've got main vocals 1 and 2, which are on channels 14 and 15, vocal harmonies 1 and 2, and then we've got the chorus double. So whenever you record vocals, it's a good idea to record 2 or more versions of exactly the same line, because it thickens the vocals. It's almost like adding a chorus to it. That's not to say you won't add more chorus later on, but if we have a listen to this.
These are only bones, that's what they say. Nobody needed here anyway.
So this will give you an idea of a really good home recording vocal. Now, you might be able to hear the tick in the background. That's completely normal. You'll get that in almost every vocal track ever produced. It's not worth dipping it out because it doesn't come through in a mix anyway, and it's completely smothered because what he's listening to is what I've sent him. So he's listening to the render that I sent Phil and singing over that. It's completely normal to hear the spill from the headphones. So a vocalist will sit in a booth or in a room, they'll have the headphones on, and they're listening to something while singing. Now, are these my open back or closed back? Yeah, these are my open back headphones. So these will be particularly loud. Vocalists tend to use closed back, but even still, they tend to have it at the volume where you can hear the spillover. So that's worth noting. If somebody sends you a vocal and you can hear that, don't go, oh, what's this? It's completely normal. But what was I saying? Yeah, so this is the...
These are only bones, that's what they say.
So that's one vocal take. Now, this is a completely separate take he's done.
These are only bones, that's what they say.
So it really helps thicken the vocal up. And then we come on to the harmonies. So he's also provided harmonies for the vocal all the way through. Not in the first pass through. In the second half of the verse, that's when the harmonies come in.
When we go to the other side, upload your mind for a brand new life.
So he's actually sent everything leveled as well, to the point where he thinks, right, my harmonies should be at this volume, and he's panned them. So there's certain things I've not had to do, which is brilliant, and also you won't have to do it when you get the project file. But it does mean that these things, I can't show you these things because I haven't had to do anything. You can actually see I've put some EQ on some of the channels as well, but I just didn't need to do anything for what he sent me. And then the last thing we've got is the chorus doubles. So let me just solo these.
And you go all the way around the sun and back again.
So we've actually got 4 takes going on now, and it sounds really big, really spacious. Do you know what I mean? So if we take these off, it still sounds good.
Go all the way.
But when I bring these in,
All the way around the sun and back again.
and if you have a look on the fader channels here, he's actually got them panned. He's recorded them panned as well. So thank you, Clark. Outstanding. Outstanding. You've left me with not a lot to do, but that's fine. That's fine. If you get a good sample, a good vocal recording, they should all be like this. But more often than not, if you're using a vocalist online, they won't be this good. This is as good as a good sample pack. So great. So what I've done is I've lined them up. We've got them all in the right place. We'll have a look at the ad-libs in a minute. But I've run them all through one group. So if we have a look at the group, let me just solo this.
When we go to the other side, upload your mind for a brand new life.
Very dry vocals. So the vocal group, what have I done? I've put an EQ8 on there anyway. Let's bring these in one at a time. Oh, chorus was already off. So I have high passed it around 160.
When we go to the other side, upload your mind for...
I mean, there's nothing there, but it's housekeeping, right? And then I've added a saturator. Now, I don't want the vocals to be distorted. I don't want them to be, I don't really want to hear it, but I just want this little bit of like spice or spark.
When we go to the other side, upload your mind for a brand new life.
It's kind of like the vocals were slightly dull, but the saturator just lifts them a little bit. And there's no specific settings for this. Just do what works. Remember, I'm saturating the entire group as well. So what I've done to the group of vocals will probably be different to what you'd do from a single or a doubled vocal.
When we go to the other side, upload your mind for a brand new life.
So this delay here, I've actually got 2 delays running on the vocals. We're going to have a look at the send channels a little bit later. I want to look at all of those together. The vocal is running into the... I've got a vocal reverb channel and I've got a vocal delay channel. Actually, we will look at the vocal delay channel because that's doing a specific effect. But this delay I've got as the insert. This is really just for a bit of spaciousness. Again, it's not a particularly standard way of doing it. It's just what I wanted to hear. Because synthwave, what you want to hear is massive, okay? You want to hear this great, big, spacious, exotic, luscious mix.
When we go to the others.
So it's going ping pong, it's going hard left and right, it's heavily filtered. So we're not hearing really low-end delay hits. Feedback is relatively low. So really it's just a spatial effect that I'm using here.
When we go to the other side.
And then the one and only third-party plugin I'm using is this Tal Chorus. Just because it sounds fantastic, and I like the idea of something very simple being turned on and off, maybe a little bit of dry wet, just working without having to mess around with too many settings. You know me.
When we go to the other side.
So it's just that little bit of thickness. And the dry wet level is is there no reading for it? You can see that there. It's like, I don't know, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock.
When we go to the other side, upload your mind for a brand new.
And then I've just got a little bit of compression.
When we go to the other side.
See, the gain reduction is so minimal there, but it's just helping any of those errant delay hits that are going on, anything at all. It's just going to capture those. But again, the recording was so good, didn't really need a lot. And then the final EQ, I'm doing another high pass just in case any of these other plugins, especially the saturator, just in case they generated anything that we don't need. And I'm just pushing it up a tiny little bit in the mid-lows, just for a little bit of strength and presence. Let's have a listen. In fact, let's have a listen to that little boost there.
When we go to the other side, upload your mind for a brand new life.
You see what I mean? It just pushes like the body of the vocals forward a little bit. So just quickly switching on the sends, I have got it going to the vocal reverb as well. So this vocal reverb is Vocal Pop Hall. Again, this is from Hybrid. I think it's only the vocals that are going through this. Because I've called it the vocal reverb, doesn't mean to say that's the only thing I'm going to send through it. But I think in this case I have. So we've got the Vocal Pop Hall. Is that what it says? Yeah. I've also got another EQ on it. Again, high passing it because the reverb might generate something low endy, which we don't want. And then I've taken out this potentially dangerous mid-low range.
When we go to the other side, upload your mind.
Yeah. That can be quite boxy down there. I don't want that in reverb. So listening to the vocal group again by itself, I'm going to have this vocal reverb off and on so you can hear what it's doing. It sounds like it's too much in isolation, possibly. But again, we're 80s inspired here. Like, reverb was thrown at stuff back then, and I'm a fan of using it, so I did it.
When we go to the other side, upload your mind for a brand new life.
Okay. And then the last effect we'll look at, again, we will look at these send return effects channels later, but this effect in particular it's quite specific to the vocals. So let's just go back to the beginning here. So you'll see what I've got is a delay. It's set to half notes, 8/16. It's set to half notes. And when we listen to what's going on, let me just switch these two off.
These are only bones, that's what they say.
Say.
Nobody needed here anyway.
So it's that's the tempo we're listening to. But because they're not heavily filtered, what I've actually done, and you may have seen this technique before, but I've used a compressor to sidechain this delay signal to the vocal group itself. Okay, so the vocal is going to be ducking this delay. So as long as the vocal's occurring, you won't be hearing this delay. The delay will only kick in once the vocal's stopped. I've got a similar kind of EQ there, cutting out this 400-500 hertz region, and it's high passed again. We don't need to look into that too much. But just have a listen to what the vocal is doing in terms of ducking out this delay.
These are only bones, that's what they say.
Then it comes in. In fact, it would be a good idea to take the delay out that's on the insert so we can hear it properly.
These are only bones, that's what they say.
There it is.
Nobody needed here anyway.
There it is. So it's no different than ducking a bass line with a kick. We're ducking this delay line with the vocal itself, so that what the delay is acting on is ducking the delay sound. So we don't get that delay muddying up the vocal. We want to hear the vocal. The other delay I had is the insert, very heavily filtered, and it's panned left and right. The vocal is down the center, this delay is left and right. So the delay is already out the way, and I wanted that stereo width all the time. if that makes sense. And then the last thing I want to look at is this ad-lib down here. I've kept it separate because I've processed it slightly differently. And these are just the little frilly bits that go around the outside of the vocals. So let's have a listen to this. Have I got this on?
All the way.
So it's just doing that. Ad-lib and a harmony.
Back again.
Very Tears for Fears, right? And in the context of the vocals.
And you go all the way, all the way, all the way around the sun and back again, back to.
So in terms of processing, very simple. It's also got a delay on it. It's got some of my favourite Tal chorus. As I said, this project file will be available. All you're going to need to, well, you're going to have Anna 2 and Kick 2. Hopefully most of you should have that. The only external plugin you're going to need is this Tal chorus, and it is free, so it shouldn't be a problem for anybody on PC or Mac. I was quite strict with myself about what I used. Where was I? Right, let's turn these effects off. Very, very simple. I've left this quite dry. Are we even going through reverb? Yeah, it's going through a tiny little bit of reverb, and that's going to be the Galactic reverb. This is like the general purpose big reverb. I think, yeah. So we're not going through the vocal reverb because I wanted to differentiate the ad-libs from the main vocals. I wanted them more as an effect. Let's just turn that effect off.
All the way.
So that's completely dry. This is with the delay on.
All the way.
So again, it's just doing a little bit of spatial shenanigans. Chorus.
All the way.
That really thickens it up. And then finally some EQ. Bottom end being taken out just again just in case. And the same region, 4 to 500, just dipping that little, like really intense nasal area.
All the way.
Let's listen to that.
All the way.
Yeah, that can really poke through, especially when you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. When you've got 8 channels of vocals, that nasally area can really start to build up. So that's why I take it out of almost everything. That's for his voice. It might be different. It might move a little bit on other human beings. And then finally, I'm going to just switch on this Galactic. What is it called? Galactic Choral Hall that I used. This is just to place it in a different space than the other vocals.
All the way.
Okay, so that's quite subtle, actually. I haven't sent a lot of it to it. And that's pretty much it for the vocals. Again, I was very, very lucky that this guy sent over such a fantastic set of vocals. If you can get that, brilliant. If you are ever working with a vocalist, this is what you kind of want to go for. You don't want to have a vocal sent to you and then have to sit there editing it for 3 hours. It can be a pain. But this guy knows what he's doing. So thank you, Clark. If he contacts me back with the signal chain before this video goes out, I'll try and get an edit in, or I might add it to YouTube when the intro goes up on YouTube. I might try and add it there. Hopefully I can get through to him before then. So altogether, have I got all the effects on? Everything's on, yeah. So already, all the stuff at the top here we've already looked at. So already, just with this, the meat and bones of the track's really there.
All the way around the sun and back again, back to where you came from, to another start.
Now what we haven't got there at the moment is the automation. Automation's all switched off. We'll have a look at the automation later. And I've also got my mastering chain deactivated. Now, something I do more and more these days, actually almost everything I make these days, once I get to this stage,
All the way.
I will tend to then run it through mastering. because what I do is I'll get a track to this stage, I level it as I go. Now, you don't have to do it this way, and there's probably lots of you out there going, oh my God, I can't believe you mix like that. But this is how I do it. It's at this point, I'll tend to run it through mastering so I can listen to it in the car the next day. And this is just so that I can get an idea of whether or not I'm going down the right road with the levels and everything. I do have the Spotify playlist as my reference tracks as I'm going, but I'm not really one for being a slave to sounding exactly like them. I try to work with what I'm doing rather than do what somebody else has done. It's not to say that theirs is wrong. I've got my own way of doing things. So the point of this is that, in fact, let's just turn the mastering. No, I won't turn the mastering on yet. I want it to be a surprise later. Shh. It's nothing special. It's just how I've done it in this case, because I usually use third-party programs for mastering. I'm rambling. What was I talking about? Yeah, so at the moment, this is the very raw nuts and bolts of the track.
When we go to the other side, upload your mind for a brand new life. And you go all the way around the sun and back again, back to where.
So yeah, we're getting there. Next thing we'll look at is I'm gonna look at doing some of the track layout next, I think, because we need to put the intro in. The intro's missing, and I've got a break that I've done, a little break in the middle. Possibly we need to look at the transitions or the transition effects, because they make such a massive difference to any track. So anyway, probably a little bit of track layout next. So I'll see you there. Cheers.